We're back to the John Danvers whiskey.
Yeah, with Deadwood episode 32. We're only 4 away now from completing the epic trek. It's a bit weird though, because on a bad note, we're only 4 away from finishing Deadwood. On a good note, we're only 4 away from finishing season 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Leviathon Smiles. Do you want to briefly explain the events of this episode?
Well, this is kind of like one of them not really much happens episodes.
Yeah, it's sort of it's in between.
Yeah, which I think season 3 has too many of them episodes.
Well, definitely, yeah. It's just like, what it'll be is one episode sets the next up, and that's just like as we were saying, Unauthorized Cinnamon, great. The one before that, nothing but setup.
Yeah.
Two-Headed Beast, great episode. The one before that, nothing but setup.
Well, like with season 2, you had like a couple filler episodes, then 4 3 knockout episodes that just fucking just wipe the 4 clean. And then maybe a couple, episodes to recover from it. But yeah, we'll get into that in our big season 3 look back. Now, this episode is very much an in-between episode. So you've got the newest thing is the introduction of 2 characters.
The Earps.
Yeah.
Wyatt Earp and his brother.
Who are up to kind of mischief in the town. They're kind of trying to crook people out of money, and Pollack doesn't like him. Oh, basically, they come into town pretending that they're like these big heroes and they've fended off these people who are trying to attack the town. Al and Sai and Pollack pretty much see it as just bullshit.
Yep.
And they're there just to kind of rip off the town, basically.
Yep.
We have with Steve the Drunk.
Steve the Drunk gets kicked in the head by a horse.
And he's comatose.
Yep.
And they have the scenes with the general.
Yep.
How the general reacts to that. And
yep, the general reacts by, at first, he's like joking and throwing stuff at him, and then he seems to come around in a great little scene.
That's a really
he wipes it away, and he's like, he realises he's a better man than Steve the Drunk.
So he walks away from it. You have the tragic death of
Belregard. Possibly one of the theatre troupe members dies.
After 9 fucking episodes, he finally dies. Or 8 or whatever one.
Well, it's pretty funny because they aren't introduced until episode 3. So what feels like 9 episodes is only actually 6.
He finally dies in a scene where Brian Cox's character takes him to the new theatre, and he's kind of talking him through what's going to be there and kind of stuff, and he dies in a nice tender little scene.
Yeah.
Jeez, what else happens in this episode?
Hurst got a massage.
That was weird, yeah.
That was a weird scene.
Hurst gets an erotic back rub from Brian Cox's character, which the one character in Deadwood you don't want to see naked is Hurst. So you see it all to bear.
Yeah, and other than that, an absolutely great last scene I thought, where all the men Hurst has brought arrive through the town. Yeah, that's it really. Nothing much really happens. Do you know who the Earps actually are? The real Earps?
Nope.
They're really famous. Wyatt Earp was what is it now? There's been loads of films featuring Wyatt Earp. Tombstone, My Darling Clementine.
Films I've not seen.
He's usually played by someone like Henry Fonda. He's like a real life character. He was like a sheriff. Like a really noble sheriff.
Oh, like we were saying in the show, yeah.
Yeah, like he went around righting wrong and stuff, and he was at the Battle of Tombstone. So he's a really famous, iconic, real-life character. What they're trying to do with them characters is to play them off of Wild Bill Hickok from the first season. Like, you remember, he actually was a legendary character.
He was a hero, yeah.
Killed in his prime, and these people are just assholes.
Yeah, trying to reap reward. Okay, that makes sense. It's an indicator of how the times have changed since the days of Wild Bill, and what how the nature of the world's changed in those days and how Deadwood's changed. Yes,
it's because it's to show that there was the existential dread of Wild Bill. It was a massive big deal. He was someone that the characters looked up to, especially Pollack, who was a very big Wild Bill fan.
He wanted to see what was under his Wild Bill
Hickox.
Hickox.
He wanted to see his Hickox.
Yeah.
Yes, but now the
Hucksters.
characters hucksters.
Hucksters.
Also, the guy who isn't Wyatt Earp, his brother Morgan, I think it was, is actually played by the guy who plays John in John from Cincinnati.
Oh yeah.
David Milch's Crazy Man next project.
Okay.
But yeah, this episode is okay, but I think it might actually be the worst episode of Deadwood. My previous least favourite episode, it's not a bad episode, is that episode Mr. Wu from season 1. But that was a really great standalone one that made no sense within...
It didn't make sense of the context of the season. Now, I would take Mr. Wu over this episode. Yeah.
Mr. Wu had one of my favourite scenes of all time in any TV show ever. He's got that absolutely amazing scene where the Reverend is in the shop and he's saying, "Are you devils?" Because he's completely lost his mind at that point.
Yeah.
Pollack and Star, they're like, "No, we're friends," and it's the most tender, heartwarming scene in anything ever. It's amazing. But yeah, this didn't have any of that. So
no, this didn't have anything.
Would you agree then that this is the worst episode of?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree because they spend a lot of time on characters I don't really care for.
No.
Like the like Brian Cox and
yeah.
I like the general, but not enough.
No.
To like want to be the main star of the episode. Although I did like one little scene where like it was Joni Stubbs and Calamity Jane kind of awkwardly walk out of the hotel room together after sharing a tender smooch together.
Yeah.
And then there's the asshole hotel owner who was like he was reading a proverb or something from the Bible.
Yeah.
It's like basically saying lesbianism's evil.
Yeah.
And they're like Calamity Jane's like dare fuck you asshole. And he's like yes.
Yeah.
Yes now.
Yeah, it's got nice moments in. I just don't. It's just okay.
It's alright. It's just
There's not apart from the horrible scene where they really camp.
Oh god.
Where there's like a bizarre scene in this for anyone who watched it for ages, where the really camp theatre troupe member, the dandy one, goes to see the dying one, and he's like, "Where are the blankets? Oh no!" And it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's like
awkward
and badly acted, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Two characters you know nothing about are having a scene together, and you could focus on Al, or EB, or Bullock,
anyone really.
Anyone, yeah.
Yeah.
Christ, I'll take Mrs. Bullock.
Well, Mrs. Bullock's a really interesting character, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, she represents like an old sort of view of women, like a really boring matriarch figure, being face to face with a world where she can actually change and evolve. Yes. But yeah,
part of the show's undermining of traditional female roles.
Yeah, this episode also didn't feature any Alma.
I was thinking
at all.
Yeah.
Or any Trixie at all.
No Trixie, yeah.
It was. It's a weird episode. It's okay.
Bit of a sausage fest episode.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. It just, would you even? Well, it's hard to know of it because you haven't seen the rest of it. But there's no. If this episode wasn't in the season, I think, apart from the fact it introduces the Earps, who feature heavily in the next episode, I don't think you'd notice it wasn't in here at all.
No, it wouldn't have any bearing or impact or.
Yeah. I mentioned this, but this season, and this episode especially, just remind me of that Simpsons with Poochie, where they go, "When are we going to get to the fireworks factory?"
Oh, yeah.
Because you're just constantly watching it, like, when are we going to get to the Al stuff?
When we get to the scene where shit's going to hit the fan with Hearst.
Yeah.
It's my whole thing with this season is that, like, they build up this whole thing that, like, there's going to be a big confrontation with Hearst.
Yeah.
But it's not happened.
No.
I don't know if it is going to happen.
I'm not going to confirm, but...
Yeah. I mean, I'm all up for undermining expectations, but, that's not really what Deadwood does.
No.
It's not like The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Well, like, sorry to bring up Sopranos again in these, but like in The Sopranos, like, that's just a show built on anticlimaxes, because the show is meant to be, even though it's got a dreamlike quality to it, it is about real life and the way real life operates.
Yeah.
Deadwood's not that. It's a Shakespearean tale of characters brought together under one common goal.
Yep.
And the trials and tragedies that come from that.
Yep.
So it's not really a show that I think should operate in any kind of like almost real world logic.
Yeah.
That's what I think anyway.
I 100% agree. I also think that there could have been, and I can't mention it now because it would spoil the rest of the season for you, there could have been a really great season 3, and I'll mention why in the whole season 3 overview with a simple tweak. But yeah, it's just it's really weird because like obviously Deadwood is, as I've said constantly before, it's all improvisation. It's David Milch on set being crazy and saying this goes there, this goes there. And obviously in season 2 that worked beautifully. Season 1 had a much more rigid structure.
Yeah.
You can probably tell by the way the episodes are structured, especially like the first half, because it was the first one. It all had to be written in advance, and he only edited like the dialogue, rather than the full sweep of what happened. Apparently, according to the actor who plays Hearst, he did an interview with the AV Club recently. It's only in the last month or so.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, his character was scheduled to only be in 3 episodes.
Oh.
And David Milch just said, "No, I enjoy you so much. Just keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back." And he's in every episode.
Well, that explains a lot then.
It's bizarre, that, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
It suddenly explains a lot about season 3.
Yeah.
I'm all up for improvisation.
Yeah.
You know, as long as like you don't fuck about with like the actual narrative.
Yeah.
Which is why I hate
American
Hustle, because you've got a really great narrative in there, but the director clearly doesn't care and he thinks he's so uber cool.
Yeah.
It has these cool actors doing improvised dialogue. The scenes are crazy.
Yeah.
We don't care about the plot, and that's kind of the problem with improvisation. They handled it really well in the first 2 seasons.
Yep.
Season 3 feels a little bit
more of a mess.
A little bit of a mess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you give Leviathon Smiles?
7.
I would agree with 7.
7, yeah. It's it's really well made. It's really well written. It's always really well acted, and there's plenty of great scenes which put it above any other TV show. But it doesn't satisfy.
No.
There aren't scenes I'm going to remember.
No.
I'm not going to be getting all teary-eyed when
Steve gets kicked.
Yeah. Or when Bellevue.
Bella
Regard dies. But like it's just I think it's it's the only scene in Deadwood where I thought, what is the fuck is the point in this? And it was the scene when Brian Cox gives the back rub to Hearst.
Yeah.
It's the only time in Deadwood where I've gone, what the fuck is the point in that? That's just what?
Yeah.
Why was that scene in there? It's not it's contributed anything.
No. Well, in the end, Brian Cox tries to explain it by saying he's trying to get in with Hearst by giving him, because Hearst has back problems. But I don't know why it's played like that. And why is that woman there?
She's like,
the woman is just stood in the corner, not doing anything.
Yeah.
Why isn't it just Brian Cox by himself?
I think basic logic dictates it should have been a intimate scene between the 2 characters.
Yeah.
Maybe working the whole theatre troupe thing. Maybe make it like a, we're going to do a play or something. I don't know. That might have been fun. I don't know. Who am I to criticise David Milch's writing choices?
Yeah. Well, I still think the dialogue is just as good.
It's just the way it's shot and performed.
Well, yeah. Do you think the shoot, because it is a different lead director from season 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Do you think? I've definitely noticed more just shot reverse shot.
It's less cinematic and less ambitious.
Yes.
I think that's what I found. It feels more like TV show.
Yeah.
And not HBO.
Yeah.
Like season 2 has like such an amazing look to it.
Well, you said it feels like a 70s film, like a Sam Peckinpah.
Yeah, like a Sam Peckinpah film, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not really there. By the way, we had a great idea, we were discussing this last time, but Powers Booth, before he dies, needs to play Sam Peckinpah in an autobiographical film.
He does.
That might just be the casting choice of heaven.
Yeah.
Like Powers Booth, like fucking secretaries, like on a coffee table next to the script of a Wild Bunch. If a film could be about the trials of like Sam Peckinpah making Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid,
that would be amazing.
I mean, like it's like the breakdown of him because he couldn't get his vision made, and it explains his coke addiction, and it'd be the best thing.
You'd even be able to get a guy to play Bob Dylan as that with that.
You could, yeah. Yeah, perfect. Well, what could you want?
It would be absolutely. I think they even look slightly similar.
I think so. Yeah. So a similar kind of look and the way they talk, and that kind of like magnetic sexual power that they have from like the voice, the body language, and
they're both just absolutely awesome. I was going to say, I just thought this actually. I understand actually with the death of Beauregard, what they're trying to go for, which is a comparison with the main season about what you do when you confront death.
Yeah.
It just doesn't say anything new about what you do when you confront death.
Well, the whole thing is kind of like, it's painful, obviously, like, it's done upteen times in TV shows where, like, the death of a new character, the beginning of a new age kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's what happens here, where, like, with this character who's a vanguard of, presumably, I know nothing about this character, who's a vanguard of a different time, has died, and then you juxtapose that with the oncoming of the new way of things. Yeah. I think it's been done better in, like, probably other episodes of Deadwood, actually. Yeah. Wild Bill Hickok being the best example. Yeah. It's been done before and better. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a shame. You shouldn't be able to say that about a David Mills creation.
No.
It should soar above everything else.
Yes, like a majestic eagle.
Like it.
Flying over the Wild West Prairie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think then? Does season 3 dampen your enjoyment of Deadwood a little? Do you think it would have been the greatest show ever if it ended on season 2? Or do you think you can accept that season 3 as a postscript rather than seeing it as a
That's more how I see season 3 so far. I see it as a nice little, as an epilogue. Yeah. Like I said, for me personally, I think Deadwood did all its big themes. It told everything it needed to tell at the end of season 2. Yeah. I was 100% satisfied. If the show had ended there, I'd have been really happy. Yeah. I'd have had no qualms with it. I wouldn't have been bothered about seeing what happened next. Yeah. The only thing that made me a bit sad was I wasn't going to see these characters again. Yeah. I love seeing these characters, so it is really nice seeing them again, but I feel they're underused.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel there's certain characters which, I love Dan Doherty. I love the other one of Al's minions.
Johnny Barnes.
Yeah, Johnny Barnes. Yeah, I love that character. I love the Doc and Joni Stubbs and Calamity Jane. I want to see them utilised well. Yeah. So even if season 3 wasn't like as thematically satisfying as season 2, I would have liked just to see those characters, but I don't think they're given enough to do. Definitely not. I don't think no. Even Al, I don't think does anything. Not really. He's barely in it. I think it's a bit of a mistake concentrating on one massive plot line. Definitely, yeah, I agree. It's a huge mistake, I think.
Well, I actually think the issue is that all the other stuff, like, I think the Hearst stuff is fine. I have a problem with why the theatre troupe? Why bring in Steve the Drunks? Why is Steve the Drunk one of the main characters? Why is Steve the Drunk such a big character? I don't get that. I get the whole need, because, like, well, one of the wonderful things about Deadwood is, one of the reasons why I really love Orange is the New Black so much is that, a character that was previously in the background will come out of the woodworks and be this amazing character. Like Dan Doherty, you will see him in season 1, you think he's just like the fat kind of lump, kind of like the brute tough guy that Alan's hired. Yeah. You watch the show, you find he's a very funny, very sensitive, actually a really smart guy, and just because of society, he's not being given the same opportunities as somebody like Al. Yeah. So he ends up becoming quite a sad but very likeable character. Yeah. I want to feel that way about all these new characters. Yeah. Like Beauregard. Or Brian Cox's character. Langrish.
I like Langrish, but like, because mostly because it's Brian Cox and he knows how to play this role. Yeah. But again, even him, I'm a bit like, well, come on. Impress me. Yeah. I really want this character to shine out. Yeah. But
what annoys me actually most about this season is there's no moments where the cast come together as one. No, which is bizarre considering that's the point of season 3 that they come. Because do you remember, like, there's an amazing episode in season 2 which is New Money, which is one of the weaker ones, even though it's still an absolute masterpiece. And it ends with Al screaming, and every character is united by that. Yeah. And it's got that beautiful music that always goes behind it. That scene is better than any scene, or every scene combined in season 3. But it's bizarre, isn't it, that the whole point of the season is every character comes together against one united foe, but there isn't any scene of everyone coming together or anything.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, thematically, like, I agree with what you say. Thematically it makes sense. I don't think the way they executed it is the best. No. And I think this episode is a prime example of... It's the textbook example of kind of what's wrong with season 3. Yeah. There's a lot to recommend, and if you're not like... The thing is, like, if you're not a nitpicky arsehole like us, like, season 3, by any standards, is great.
Yeah, it's still great television.
It's great, yeah. Like, it's entertaining, it's funny, it's got great moments, great bits of acting, but compared to what came before, and the standards for Deadwood season 1 and 2 kept going, it's kind of a bit disappointing in comparison.
Definitely, yeah. Well, what actually is funny, you said that, like, if you know, but I don't think it is just us. A lot of people who are more casual fans of Deadwood hate this season because it's too slow and nothing happens.
I can see that. I can see the complaints.
Yeah, because like I read I read a lot of reviews on Amazon actually just to see what sort of normal people's reaction was.
Yeah.
You know, instead of us who aren't normal people, we're like mutants. But yeah, like
cinephiles.
Cinephiles, yeah. And everyone was saying, why did they build up this confrontation which is never coming? Why is no one doing anything? And I think that's a perfectly valid point.
I think it's legit, yeah. I think it's legit. At the end of the day, I always say, all I need to be able to do is care.
Yeah.
As long as I care, then do whatever the fuck you want, but as long as I care.
Could you imagine actually watching this, like, and this was the first season you watched? You'd just be like, what is happening?
What is this?
Why do I care? Why is Deadwood?
Yeah.
Why is this so acclaimed? Why is this seen as the greatest thing ever?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's alright. Leviathan Smiles, 7 out of 10. Worst episode of Deadwood. I actually think the next episode is the only episode of season 3 where everything works. And it utilises the characters in a new way.
Oh,
it suggests a much lighter Deadwood and has one of the standout scenes of Deadwood.
I am really looking forward to this one. This is going to be the open night episode.
Amateur night, yeah.
I am really looking forward to this episode.
It's where like, yeah, the theatre troupe opening day, they put on an amateur night. And like all the characters go. And well, that unites all the characters and in a new, fun, interesting way, potentially suggesting a Deadwood that would never be explored.
Yes.
But yes, stay tuned for Amateur Night, a top flight episode. And then we've got the end 3, which form a loose trilogy. So in a way, it's almost like only 2 episodes of it.
Oh, yeah, it's all going to end. And then we'll move on to the next phase of American history.
Yeah. Let's see where the American dream takes us.